This is D Durrell with D Durrell Life Solutions. I am broadcasting from my Houston office right now. I'm going to chop it up with you all a little bit to have a brief discussion. I don't talk about this particular issue as it is kind of a counseling specialty. I don't particularly talk about vocational counseling services a whole lot. And so today we're going to dive into understanding career and academic counseling related issues. Um, I am reading a magazine by Psychology Today that's called Counseling Today, and they have this beautiful black sister here. This is a very, very beautiful black sister that's in this magazine. Matter of fact, this would make a great thumbnail. She's beautiful, dark chocolate skin, just smooth and everything. And so it got my attention, but I basically get a subscription of this magazine every month, and I read it, and it gives me a lot of a lot of things that I want to talk about. Particularly when I'm really, really into doing content, I go into journals, I go into different organizations that have websites and things of that sort, and I look for topics I can talk about. Um, a lot of the times when I am creating content on this channel, uh, I am basing it off of my own clinical experience, a something that occurred that day or yesterday. I'm pretty spontaneous when I come up with ideas that I want to talk about on the D Durrell Life Solutions channel. This is a professional channel. This is a related to my business, my practice, my career, people I network with. We talk about politics. We talk about everything that kind of is interconnected with therapy, mental health, financial uh, uh, issues, and etc. So again, we're going to talk about career and academic counseling. And one of the reasons I decided to talk about this is because I was actually talking to a friend the other day about people making career decisions that affect their life. And we don't understand how important, because career counseling is one of the most overlooked counseling specialties that exist. We focus a lot on mental health. Um, we focus a lot on trauma related issues, relationship related, family related issues, substance abuse related, even as it deals with wellness and health as it affects mental illness. We focus a lot on that, different holistic approaches. We talk about the financial stressors that affect, uh, as it not necessarily the career itself, but the stresses of paying bills and not managing your money well. That's psychology to that. So when we talk about career and your vocational decision making, um, it's highly overlooked. However, in a counseling session itself, at some point, depending on your relationship with the client as a therapist or even a person that's receiving therapy, some of the main issues is that people are involved or they're working in careers or they chose a career path that is just not um, conducive to their personality, their lifestyle, the things that are really important to them. And so, as a kid, we could think about things. We think about what we want to do when we grow up. And we're highly influenced by what we see in our environment. We're highly influenced by what we see on TV and also in the school environment. As your teacher or any academic, any educational environment, they expose you to all types of occupations. So in that, what do kids talk about? I want to be a policeman. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a principal. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a librarian. I want to be a store clerk. You know, I want to own my own business. I mean, we pretty much talk about um, occupations that are relative to your environment. Okay, no one is. I never heard a kid say I want to be a geologist. Now I've heard kids say I want to be an astronaut, but an astronaut is a particular career that is glamorized, and particularly for boys or those that are interested in space and spatial exploration and the moon, the stars, the planets. Through science, you're exposed to that type of um, that type of career. No one is saying that I want to be a mortician. The kids are not saying these things. So, based on your environment, what you're exposed to, educational wise, in your environment, whether it's your family um, or in school, kids show interest in what they're exposed to. Going to the military, the kids that want to go to the military. So, what you see, what you hear, what you think is realistic for you, um, is what sparks a person's enthusiasm to want to become some type of profession. Now, as you get older, you start looking at things. I want to be a musician. I want to be a rapper. I want to own a record company. I want to play in the NBA. I want to, sports, particularly in the African American community. Sports and entertainment is highly glamorized. And so in some other communities, um, some of your career choices are almost predetermined because other communities have a stronger sense of business culture and legacy in which somebody owned a financial institution, a store, any type of manufacturing company or something in retail. They probably owned it for a generation or two. So when you get of age and are able to work at some capacity, it's already ingrained in you that this is going to be part of your life. To work in, selling certain products or medical equipment, owning a grocery store, owning some type of clothing store, selling jewelry, um, a mechanic shop, or some type of farming type related industry. So these things are kind of already ingrained in you, and so you grow up in a culture. So seriously speaking, most kids, and I'm just kind of looking at from a gradual developmental standpoint, once you become an adolescent to pretty much um, high school, kids kind of start narrowing down based on their strengths and weaknesses. Because, you know, if you are strong in mathematics, you're going to tend to want to do something that is relative to your academic strengths, or avoid careers that expose your academic weaknesses. So if you're a person that's great at writing and reading, you may want to be a writer. You may want to teach English at the high school, college level. You may want to get a PhD in English. You may want to work for a publishing company, or become a journalist or something like that. It all depends on your strength. So you start really understanding your strengths and weaknesses based on your social skills, your personality, how much that industry pays, and that can highly dictate what type of career that you want. So, how does this kind of lock into being a therapist? And I'm gonna talk to you about that. Okay, and I appreciate those that have come in. Appreciate you all for being in here today, and I wish you a good morning. How it factors is that when you begin to receive academic advisement in high school, your academic advisor or school counselor kind of shifts you or encourages you to take certain courses, particularly if you want to go to college, go to trade school, go to a community college, what you want to major in. Excuse me. If you choose, or you don't know what you want to do, they in some ways put you in positions to the best of their ability to be a precursor to what you experience after high school. Okay, so if you're wanting to go to college, you're going to take courses that are going to prepare you for college. Okay, like for myself, I use myself as an example. I knew at the age of like around 12, about 12 years old, that I wanted to work in the mental health field. I originally wanted to be a psychologist. So when I went to high school, I made sure that I took a psychology course. Excuse me. I made sure that I took a course in psychology and other social sciences that were related to sociology and psychology. Matter of fact, I made a point to take those courses because I knew that when I went to college, I wanted to major in psychology. I made up my mind to major in psychology when I was in the ninth grade. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I need some water. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. Got me some water, so I'm good. Okay, so I knew that I wanted to major in psychology. I took a psychology course in high school. I did very well in that course. I went to these different literary. I took these competitions. I scored real high on that. I won a contest for that particular course. Um, Went to the state level, competed for scholarships and all that stuff. So it was already ingrained in me, and I was put in a position. So when we talk about uh, the correct career path for yourself, of course, people want to be in certain careers that you can make a lot of money. And so for some people, it's not just about making a lot of money, but you actually enjoy it. Like someone that enjoy animals, want to work in a veterinarian related field or something dealing with animal sciences, zoology, things of that sort. Someone that is blue collar, like they like working with their hands, may want to do something mechanical, something that's more blue collar in nature. Someone that is more, white collar, want to be in an office, want to be a manager. So, but there are various assessments. There are psychological assessments. There are in vocational counseling in looking at people who wanted to be in certain fields and not knowing what you want to do. There are career related assessments that could point to you in the right direction and can analyze your personality and your strengths and point you into certain fields that are probably in would be in your best interest to maybe pursue because it fits who you are as a person. And so when people want to involve themselves in, to me, what I call glamorous or more glamorized um, um, career paths, such as doctor, lawyer, engineer, politician, wanting to work in certain type of sciences, things of that sort. Um, Working in the movie industry, record exec, we look at what's glamorized based on the fact that you make a lot of money and things of that sort. Computer sciences, but no one ever talks about, and this is what causes problems, because in many situations when people have issues, particularly as a therapist, I deal a lot with work related issues, stressors. We don't talk about whether or not you can handle the stress and the culture of everyday grind within a work environment and how it affects your regular life, dating, family life when you're in these industries. Because when you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're working 60, 70, 80 plus hours a week. When you work in industries that are high intensive work output, it's going to affect other domains of your life that you don't consider. Okay. Some industries and certain career paths make it very difficult to maintain a relationship, a personal romantic relationship. It makes it difficult for you to function as a father. It makes it difficult for you to be there as a mother. It makes it difficult for you to be there for other aspects of your life. There are people who literally work in careers they have zero social life. Let me repeat that. Like, you want to be in the military, yeah, you're going to travel, you can see the world, but you're going to be away from your home for months at a time. Can you mentally handle having to take a tour in Iraq or Iran or somewhere else because you're in the military and you're away for 6 to 8 months? And then you go home, you come back home, and then you may have to take another tour a year later for the same amount of time. Or any other military need that you have to be available. And so you have to really look at that. We don't necessarily look at, do I want to live the lifestyle, the type of life that a career will dictate for you? Okay. And so as I was reading this article, particularly on psychology, on counseling today, it kind of talked about how to find the right career path. And so it talks about self-assessment, your experiences, mentoring, networking, supervision, research. Okay. So self-assessment, I would encourage one, you can get any type of, you can look up vocational academic related assessments. You can actually, I don't necessarily say you take something online. You can seek a professional vocational counselor. Many of them are licensed as therapists, or they work for different workforces in your community that help people find jobs, and it can route you in the right direction. I have only um, facilitated testing academically early in my career. I don't engage in those type of activities anymore. Um, I haven't. I don't think I've administered a academic or vocational assessment in probably over 10 years, at least 10, 12 years. It's no longer an aspect of my practice or my company. But putting yourself in the right position, okay? Because a lot of times when someone comes into therapy, they have work related issues, or their job itself affects other aspects of their life. Raising children, keeping a relationship, are the stressors that job of a demanding job. Okay. So it talks about that self-assessing yourself. I think it's a good idea in researching something to network and form like, say, for people that are in real estate, have a mentor. There are people who go into certain fields like myself. I had several people that were mentoring me. Just an aspect of to me, two of my professors kind of quote unquote mentored me. I had one professor that um, he taught several classes, and I actually worked and did my internship at his facility. The other guy, that professor that I had, he mentored me in a sense of, I joined a church that he belonged to. joined a choir with him. He asked me to come along, and we talked offline a lot. We saw each other. We had a relationship outside of the academic realm. Okay. Matter of fact, I need to call and catch up with him because I haven't spoken to him in decades. Matter of fact, it's been well over it's been over 10 years maybe, and that actually is a problem. It, particularly going to an SB and an HBCU where we do develop those relationships with our students and our professors, and those relationships can last forever. Okay, so in networking and mentoring, I did that. I also had a professor that I actually went back to visit probably when my daughter went to, about 8 years ago. Um, I caught up with an old professor of mine, and at the time he was actually, that was like his first or second year teach at that university. Now he's the assistant director of the psychology department. Um, so knowing things about people who are already working, who are already masters of their craft, putting you in the right direction. The exposure that I received getting my master's degree, obtaining my master's degree, and working at that particular facility that my professor owned, exposed me to a lot of diverse counseling related issues. And also, I was visually able to see another black man accomplish a lot with various group homes that he owned, a counseling agency that he owned, other research related activities that he was indulged in. His son actually was a psychologist, and he also worked there doing things. I mean, uh, he was an excellent model for me in learning as a person, seeing someone who looks like me excel and prosper in the field of mental health. Um, it definitely awakened a entrepreneurial spirit in me, even though I came from an entrepreneurial family environment. My dad and mom were both entrepreneurial in spirit, and they owned their own businesses. But it also opened my mind to how I don't have to confine myself to just having a traditional practice, okay? Private practice where I'm just seeing clients, when I can do consulting, when I can have a behavioral group and hire therapists to provide services for me. I can own my own clinic. I can also contract with other agencies and do all kinds of things within the school system, the legal system, government agencies. So I began thinking on that in that realm. Okay. But networking and mentoring to me, outside of you developing, okay. Okay. Something happened with that. Okay. All right. So, um, the educational foundation, in conjunction with the mentoring and networking, is what propelled my career to where it's at today. And I've been working in mental health uh, since for now 26 years now. I've been licensed for now about 19 to 20, going on 19 years. Um, and so we're looking at, as far as the mentoring, networking, supervision, my supervision as a therapist also helped me in the perspective of me looking at other subsets of therapy related services that we can provide that are not therapeutic in nature. Consulting with corporations, training related, using counseling related approaches to help people solve work related issues, corporate related issues, etc. Okay. Lastly, research. And research is ongoing. Okay. Research is ongoing. Um, there are certain trends. As I look at things from where I was position. I obtained my psychology degree in 1999. I graduated in May of '99. I got my master's degree in 2002. Okay, I had a master's degree for 23, 20, almost 23 years now. Okay, I made a decision not to go back to get my PhD because I had a family. I had 2 kids, and I was 25, and it was time for me to start making money. I did not want to sacrifice another 4 years of going to school, and I just it was time. And then I was also looking at the fact that when I look at obtaining, was it financially beneficial for me to spend another 80,000 dollars getting a PhD, and I didn't see the substantial uh, uh, disparities in what a master's level clinician would make versus a person who has a PhD that's licensed as a clinical psychologist. Even though there are some differences, but particularly if I was owning my own business, then it's about how well your business is streamlined, not necessarily what degree you have. Even though there are advantages, there's a lot of advantages to being a clinical psychologist. But for what I wanted to do, the important things that were important to me, I had no interest in doing research. I had no interested in doing projective testing or even testing, even though I did some aspects of assessment and testing, and I still do that to this day. But to the level that psychologists make tons of money on, I had no interest in doing 3 to 5 hour assessments. That's just not my cup of tea. So I made the decision to become a licensed professional, and the rest is history. But the main reason for this is that when I counsel people about what kind of career they want to be in, I try to help the client ascertain all aspects of how their life will be affected by this one decision. Okay? Because this one decision can be the difference between you deciding not to have children or to have children, not to get married or to get married with kids. Is that career something you can make? Is it manageable for you? Is it manageable? Can you work overnight? Or do you have issues working on the weekend? Okay. People who don't like to travel, you shouldn't get, I don't think it's beneficial to be in fields that require you to travel a lot. Okay. Because I know for me, my position is I travel now as a business owner at my own discretion, but I would not want to be in a industry where I literally had to hop on a plane at least every week, or at least twice, or even once a month. I do like traveling, and I have engaged in traveling for business. And I actually travel in state a lot because I have a business in about 3.5, 4 hours away from Houston in Dallas. But I know for a fact, the first year I opened up my Dallas office, I was nearly in Dallas every 2 weeks. And that was rough. Going to Dallas from, I think, March to about May of 2015, I was literally in Dallas every 2 to 3 weeks, and it wore me out. It wore me the hell out. And I actually was in Dallas a lot, extreme amount of times. From that first year, I was in Dallas um, from May to December. I slowed down a little bit, probably in I want to say September, October. It slowed down, but for the first 6 months, I was there a lot. I was not happy about that. I could not sustain that. It caused problems for me. Okay. I had to slow it down once the business got to a point where I could be there maybe once every 2 months. here and there on an as needed basis, but not on a, it was almost necessary for the business to operate. So for those who, let's say for people who are listening, many of you are functional in your perspective careers. There are people, particularly in our community, when they see you're operating and you are uh, successful, they want to know how you got there. They want to know how can I get on, like our people, like our folks in our community like to say, can you give me the hookup? Which like I don't believe in giving hookups, but I believe in allowing you to earn an opportunity. Um, I have mentored, particularly when I was a counseling supervisor. I've mentored a lot of therapists. I was just speaking about how I once was a a training hub for a lot of people who wanted a counseling, who wanted to do their internships as therapists. I was a hub for University of Houston. I was a hub for Texas Southern University, and a couple of online universities that had counselors who were working on their licensure, and they would come there to get experience. And so, yeah, that was something that um, I'm actually looking at revisiting that. I'm looking at revisiting that particular uh, kind of those opportunities. They pay real well. Like I had people paying me monthly to do it, and it wasn't cheap. I had universities that paid me to do it. Um, Initially, when I began providing this mentorship and supervision for them to complete their clinical hours and their practicums, um, I didn't charge for that much at all. And then eventually, as I start seeing it became a bigger part of my day than what I wanted, and I began charging. And they appreciated it because they got a wealth of information, a wealth of experience. And I told them, you're gonna get a lot of direct contact with these clients. You can work on your skills, you can work on your administering all type of assessments. There's several assessments that I do psychosocial assessment, I do CANS assessment, ANSA assessment. There are behavioral, depression, and anxiety related assessments that I, as a just rule of thumb, administer for incoming clients. Do that all the time. But as far as the full battery, things that take about 4+ hours, I don't engage in that. I was with a psychologist that um, hired me to do some things, but I'm at this point, I don't necessarily need the money for that. And I don't like the time. It's very time consuming. I helped a lot of people get Social Security benefits. I'm actually thinking about making that a part of my practice again, where I would literally provide people guidance to their Social Security approvals. Okay, I was very successful doing that, working for the second to last company that I was with uh, in Galveston County. I was very effective in helping people get Social Security benefits and other government related benefits. Then I began doing it privately. Okay, so let's see, we're about 33 minutes in, so I'm gonna kind of wrap it up. I just wanted to kind of chat with you all and do a quick vertical, and I wanted to talk about the importance of you making those career related decisions, your vocational related decisions, academic related decisions. A lot of that comprised of what we call in the counseling field um, um, vocational counseling, and they are certified vocational CVCs, or certified vocational counselors. A lot of certified vocational counselors work in government programs that help people with mental health and physical disabilities obtain or maintain employment or whatever educational goals they have. A lot of people that are in that realm, there are master's degree programs in vocational counseling. A lot of vocational counselors also have licenses in social work, marriage and family therapist, or a licensed professional counselor like myself. So, guys, I do appreciate you all for being here. I just wanted to kind of talk to you all about that particular counseling specialty. And I want for those who are thinking about what they want to be, or they want to make a career path change, or they want to somewhat transition to something different, understand how that industry will affect your overall life, and not necessarily, to me, that's more important. I know money and financial aspects. There are tons of people who got out of industries where they made a hell of a lot of money, but they could no longer work in those industries anymore because of what they were doing and how it affected them mentally, psychologically. So you all have a great day. Again, this is D Durrell with D Durrell Life Solutions. I will talk to you later. Peace.